Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comedian, host of Bachelor Recap, a Guys Review. Good to see you today. Next video we got is about Rachael Kirkconnell and her mom coming to her defense with a video on the website The Sun. You know me, I get all my celebrity gossip news from the United Kingdom smut rag called The Sun. You know what, UK? We left you for a reason, but we still come back for that juicy drama. Now listen, here's where it's going to get interesting. Like, what mom wouldn't defend their kid, right? Let's hear what she has to say. We'll read the article and then we'll talk about it. Of course, if this is the first video you've ever seen, hello, how are you? I live in Hollywood, California, from the great and charming state of Rhode Island, and here we are discussing a finalist on Matt James' season of The Bachelor, season 25, first Black Bachelor, and of course, one of the finalists is a lady who's got what some are calling a racist background. Some people in the comment section say, hey, she's no KKK member. So, you know, everyone's on different sides. It's like a litmus test. What side are you on? Most people agree with Rachael Kirkconnell that she comes from a problematic place with systemic racism coming from Forsyth County, Georgia. And look, if we can't even agree to start there, then I don't know where else we're going to go. Rachael, the finalist of this season of The Bachelor, has already issued an apology saying she expects to do better. She was ignorant, but her ignorance doesn't mean it was an excuse. It was wrong. It was racist. So, look, we don't need to get into the semantics of is she racist versus what she did was racist. Was it something where she grew into this culture? Who is she now? That's kind of the question. And because of the show having their NDAs and not letting contestants talk, she's had about 7 or 8 weeks here with this giant looming story over her head, and she hadn't addressed it until it hit a tipping point, and she addressed it. Now her mom is coming to her defense for, I think, a second time, actually. Let's watch the article, the video here, and then we'll get into discussing what we think about it. Of course, if you like this video, hit the like button, as we say in the Bachelor world. Bump the Harrison on top of that like button. It helps the YouTube algorithm, lets more people see the channel. And also, if you do want to voice your opinion, here's the voicemail right there, 401-213-9828. I go live at 4 p.m. on Thursdays. That's today, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'd love to play your voicemail. Please keep it respectful, of course. And I go live Monday evenings at 10 p.m. after the airing of The Bachelor. We do a live stream then. So anyway, let's just keep talking about it here, and let's watch this video from Rachael's mom, and then we'll discuss it.
The narrative that they created about her isn't who she is, and the narrative that they're creating about my family isn't who we are.
Rachael Kirkconnell has been left heartbroken and devastated over the antebellum photo scandal. Now her mom, Kim Kirkconnell, has passionately leapt to her daughter's defense and claims it was actually billed as a Southern belle rather than an Old South antebellum party.
Rachael has been a supporter of Black Lives Matter before she was ever cast on
Black
the show.
Lives.
She's been on a journey. We've all been on a journey of to understand Black Lives Matter. How do we support Black Lives Matter? And that's why this has been so hurtful for her to be accused of being a racist, because she's been supporting the Black community, and when all this came out, it just crushed her. And I wish if they talked to people that knew us, they would tell you that we're not the people they're trying to make us out to be.
She also denied claims that Rachael bullied Maddie Burstier, a TikTok user who accused, oh geez, hold on, slow down. Gee, I couldn't even read that in time. Boy, am I the slow one here? Sorry guys, hold on, we're going back. Denied TikTok. Jesus, hold on! She also claims denies that Rachael bullied Maddie, a TikTok user who accused the reality star of picking on her at high school for liking black guys, saying they didn't even go to the same school.
She's trying to manage this the best as she can, but she's definitely under a lot of pressure and has lost a lot of weight, and she's really struggling to do this. So it's been very, very hard for her. Here's
what's going to happen. People that don't like Rachael Kirkconnell are going to say, oh, poor is
homeowners,
me.
this incredible...
Shut up. People are going to say, oh, woe is me, you lost a few pounds and all that. Look, critical thinking skills, you got to look at all different sides here. Now, of course, no one's defending... Like, Rachael already apologized. She apologized for growing up ignorant, and she apologized for all the issues. You know, you can read her statement. What we have here, though, is a mom speaking out saying, my daughter has gone through a ton and hasn't been able to defend herself. So we're going to talk about this right now. We'll talk about the cease and desist letter that they wrote the TikTok user to stop spreading what they are saying are blatant lies. Graphic designer Rachael, 24, is considered a favorite to win over Matt James, the hit ABC dating show's first ever African-American bachelor, but has been rocked by claims of racism, which she apologized for in a statement. Now, in this exclusive interview with The Sun, her mom, Kim, has passionately leapt to her daughter's defense, saying no one should have to go through what she has been through. She claims that the controversial party where she was pictured was actually billed as a Southern belle rather than an Old South antebellum party. I'm from Rhode Island. I don't know the difference. I'm going to need like a degree in history to understand. Does the Southern Belle, is that do they call it that because Old South antebellum parties were banned, so they just created a new name? This is what happens when you ban words and you ban things. There's just a workaround. Is that the case, or did they just want to wear roofly dresses? I mean, we do that on Easter. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Kim also said Rachael actually has Latina roots. I can't with all the pop-ups on this video. Kim also said Rachael has Latina roots through her dad's side and vocally supported Black Lives Matter before being casted on the show. Is it casted or cast? She also denied claims that Rachael bullied Maddie Burster, a TikTok user who accused a reality star of picking on her at high school for liking black guys, insisted they didn't even go to the same school. No one wants to hear this, and I understand. No one wants to hear it. Everyone wants to think, guilty right away, and then there might be something different. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a problematic story here regardless. Obviously, Rachael apologized. Obviously, she wants to do better. With that said, this is important information to sort of sift through. The family are even considering legal action against Maddie for alleged libel and slander. And as we know, if the thing is true, it can't be slanderous. If somebody did something, you can say it. Now, if somebody didn't something and you damage their likeness, their potential earnings, just their image, they can be sued. You have to be you have freedom of speech, but you have to be accountable for what you say or do about somebody else if it is not true. The family are even, like I said, they're considering legal action against Maddie. Let's go down here, scroll. Kim's comments come after realtor Matt, 29, said in a statement on Monday that dealing with the fallout of the show's racism scandal had been devastating and heartbreaking, to put it bluntly. In response, IT professional Kim, 54, said, "We will never be able to understand how he feels about the situation as a black man. We respect his stance on the situation. We have seen the devastation and heartbreak this has caused for Rachael." And you know what? Like I say every time, you can walk and chew gum at the same time. Obviously, this affects different people different ways, and that's okay. I say that with all due respect for people that emotionally just feel disgusted or triggered or whatever they feel. You have the right to feel the way you feel if you were offended that she was even let on the show, or that Bachelor's casting didn't vet her properly, or whatever the case may be. Just as as her mom claims that she's innocent, has the right to feel like she's been wronged. She wants to be able to prove to him that she has changed and work with him to fight against injustice. Okay, so here's what people are going to say. Well, if she didn't do it, then why does she have to change? Rachael has admitted that there's a systemic racist problem where she grew up and she comes from a place of ignorance and all of these things. She has already packaged that all together. What she does with that moving forward is what will be important. In my video earlier today, we talked about Rachel Lindsay calling Rachael Kirkconnell vapid for posting the photo with Emmanuel Acho's book, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, and kind of posting in the background of a matcha photo and saying like, oh, what are you going to do now? Vapid, what are the actions you're going to take? And then that's what we're all kind of wondering. Is she allowed to speak out right now? Maybe. Is she being threatened with cease and desist letters from Bachelor producers? Maybe. We don't really know what's going on. In most cases, people wanting to defend themselves get the right to do that. In this case, there's still like 3 weeks left on the show. Her mom said this isn't about winning a show. This is about finding love with Matt. There's a nice little photo they did there. I mean, look, take yourself out of the scenario and just see a mom. You go, oh, the mom loves her daughter. The mom knows her daughter means well. That's what you get within your family, that altruistic, like, I know where their heart is. I know they're good. I remember I raised them right, X, Y, and Z. So there still is implicit bias that exists all over, and Rachael and Kim, the mom, would exist in a world where they might not see that, but it still is there. Does that make sense? And either way, I'm happy the mom is speaking out, because I don't like the world where if you just ignore something, it kind of goes away. I think we've done that for way too long with society. PR people say, just ignore it, it'll go away. No, no, no. If you really feel like your daughter has been wronged by the TikTok gate and all these other things, speak out. Shout it from the rooftops. And if it has to be because the Sun is the only place that's going to report it, or they're on speed dial, whatever the case may be, I don't care where the news comes from. Obviously, we look into media bias, but if it's somebody's story, we're watched it come out of her mouth. There's no slant to what the mom's saying. You just watched it. So here's a photo of the Southern Belle Ball that we have been calling the Antebellum South Ball, whatever they want to call it. I don't know the difference. Her mom said she only wore this Southern Belle dress for photos. Rachael has apologized for any offense she caused and vowed to learn from her mistakes. And this is what Kim said, the mom, if he chooses Rachael and stands by her, then you know Matt does truly love her. If he chooses Rachael and then leaves her, then it was not meant to be, and there is someone else out there for her. Rachael has felt hopeless and frustrated about not being able to address the issue and speak her side. We feel that the situation has gotten even more out of hand due to this. She has been suffering the consequences. We hope her time will come soon where she will be able to address everything. The Bachelor's race scandal began online shortly after the season 25 premiere on January 4th. TikTok user Maddie Burster posted a picture of Rachael and Matt with the caption, "Girly, remember when you bullied me in high school for liking black guys?" And there's the photo of a little cultural appropriation there. And then this was a photo she liked in front of a Confederate flag, liked by Rachael Kirkconnell. She followed up the post with messages she claimed to have received from others who had allegedly been bullied by Rachael. Kim claimed Rachael did not bully. Kim's mom said, Rachael's mom Kim says, Rachael did not bully Maddie Burster in high school. Maddie has committed slander and libel and was served a cease and desist with which she chose not to comply. Rachael knew of Maddie Burster but did not know her on any sort of personal level. Maddie's TikTok implied that she went to Rachael's high school, but she didn't. Maddie provides no details of where and when this bullying took place, even though we have repeatedly asked her to do so, and that is because it never happened. I'm not saying that Maddie was never bullied in high school. She may have been. However, it wasn't Rachael who did the bullying. We are considering taking legal action. Following Maddie's claims, another TikTok user did a deep dive on Rachael and pointed to her family support for Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Look, 74 million people voted for Donald Trump, so we could play this game all day long. And here's the thing, right? I'm a progressive guy. If you know me, I want everyone to have the right to, basic health care. It's a human right. I want everyone to have minimum wage. I think we need to go a long way in so many different ways within our country. With that said, we're not there, folks. Did you watch my last video with Karen calling in from Texas? We ain't there. 74 million people voted for Donald Trump. Maybe her dad, that's not an argument for saying, I digress. Let's just finish this article here, guys. Defending herself and husband Daryl, Kim says, I don't understand how your voting registration supports that you are a racist. I am not in support of Donald Trump's rhetoric and was horrified by the riot on the Capitol. I always push back on that because people that say, this is what people say, I don't support Donald Trump's rhetoric, and it's like, come on, you don't get to choose one or the other. You know what I mean? Come on. Both parties have people of all different races, have members who are not racist and members with racist past. Pictures also surfaced of Maddie's best friend who was at the same event Rachael is under fire for attending. So Maddie, the creator of the TikTok that said she was bullied by Rachael, has a best friend who was at the same event Rachael is under fire for attending, which I believe was a college event, whereas Maddie said she was bullied in high school. It's been described in the press as an Old South antebellum plantation-themed fraternity formal. The event was hosted by Kappa Alpha Order, a fraternity which claims Confederate Commander Robert E. Lee as its spiritual founder. Kim says the word antebellum was never used to describe the event. However, and this is where it gets complicated. This is where we're untangling the Christmas lights here, folks, because whether you use antebellum or I don't know how important the words are versus what was actually going down. Obviously, the photos look bad. Obviously. But just like you guys, I would like to know more about it. I would like to know more about all of this. However, Kim claims the party was not announced as antebellum themed. It was called the Rose Ball. Boy, the irony of that. The Rose Ball, and that Rachael later disassociated from Greek life when she realized it had racist undertones. She said the formal was a trip to the beach. Before they left for the beach, they took pictures in a garden wearing Southern Belle dresses. The event made no reference to the Civil War. The word antebellum was never used to describe the event. No Confederate flags were present, and no Confederate outfits were worn. They did not party on a plantation in the dresses. They took some pictures, changed, and went to the beach. Well, I mean, look, the photos are at the plantation, so it's one of those things. You may be right. I may be crazy. But either way, that's what it was. Not a good look. There's Rachael's mom. Pretty. Looks very nice. Doesn't look like a Karen. Looks like she follows the rules. Doesn't like Donald Trump's rhetoric. She's in Georgia. I mean, Georgia flipped to a blue state, but let's still call it purple for the time being, because who knows if it's going to stay blue. But, I mean, look, the state was split right down the middle in half. She fell on one side. Someone else might have fallen on the other. So to think we live in a world where like someone's not going to have their parents voting for Trump. Hey, newsflash, folks. I think my parents voted for Trump. I'm afraid to ask. You know what I mean, guys? Come on now. 74 million people. Rachael now knows the full extent of the history behind Kappa Alpha and their formal, and feels horrible that she hurt people by attending. Not long after attending the formal was when she began to acknowledge a lot of problematic and racist behavior within Greek life and chose to disassociate herself. She dropped out of her sorority the same year and was disaffiliated for the rest of her time in school because she did not share their views and beliefs and did not want to be a part of it anymore. Now, this is interesting because usually you're registered on a national order. I was in a fraternity, and usually, you pay your dues, and it's very much, there is a paper trail. So if it is true that she disaffiliated herself from the sorority, this is probably easy to prove. Kim also says that Rachael simply did not and by the way, I will say this. Someone's going to comment and say, Dave, why do you keep interrupting? Well, go read the article if that's all you want. But here's the deal. Sometimes you don't know you're stuck in mud till you're stuck in mud. You might think, it's your first day of classes in college and you don't know where you're sitting at lunch, and someone's like, hey, come rush Kappa Alpha or whatever. And you go, all right, I'll rush Kappa Alpha. You might, the people you start college with are not always the people you end college with, is my point. Whether it's a sports team, a journalism group, or a fraternity. You know what I mean, folks? Does that make sense? And I'm not apologizing for her whatsoever, but we are critically looking into this. Kim also said that Rachael simply did not recognize the portion of the Confederate flag in the background of a picture of two girls she liked on Instagram in 2015. Again, it's one of those things. You did it, you liked it, apologize for it, learn, spread the gospel, learn about it. Obviously, there's huge disinformation campaigns where they say, oh, the Confederate flag, it's just about Southern hospitality or whatever. Look, I don't know who paid for these campaigns. I don't know what the deal is. Like I said, I'm a bloke from a fishing town in Newport, Rhode Island. Okay, so I don't understand it any more than anyone else. But, better to learn about this, even if she's learning about it 6 years late. I know everyone in the comment section is going to say, how did you not know you were liking a thing? It's like, look. These girls on Instagram, they're just going through the photos, leveling up each other. Their friends like, oh, you look great. Oh, fetch, you look great. Whatever words they use. That's not a word. I don't know what fetch means. Point is, I'm not apologizing for her here. You did it. You dressed up in the Pocahontas costume. You showed up to the Rose Ball, whatever you want to call it. These things all happened. Rather than defend everything on a line item, like, of course, nice mom that she's defending her daughter. But I think Rachael did the right thing. Rather than defend her everything on a line item, she's like, look, it was ignorant, but that wasn't an excuse for the ignorance. It was racist, and it was all those things. And I'm sorry, and I'm going to do better. Now we see what her actions are. So many people have commented that they didn't know, like there's been such an education that has happened just from this story alone, and you hate to have to crack an egg to make an omelet, but this is kind of what's happened here. While we think, everyone knows about the Confederate. I mean, you look at Demi, she had a Confederate jacket on that was made by Kanye West. So it's like I would like to live in a world where we assume everybody knows the Confederate flag's a traitorous flag about, that was, a Civil War fought over slavery. But it wasn't long ago where that wasn't what was taught in schools. Yeah, it's about state rights. Yeah, sure. For you, it was. You know what I mean, folks? It's real important to have a critical eye and know that there is a huge, huge problem with racist undertones in the way we're taught about our education and taught about history. That's not to say anyone's off the hook. That's just to say, let's call it what it is so we can address how to fix this. All right, there she is. Asked about another photo she liked of three girls dressed as Mexicans, she said, Rachael is ashamed about liking this photo that was posted by a friend. In 2015, she was not yet educated about cultural appropriation in the many forms it takes, but she grew to fully understand how hurtful it is to wear someone's culture as a costume. Look, if you didn't dress up on Cinco de Mayo and go get wasted in college, like a lot of people were guilty of this cultural appropriation. A lot of people put on outfits they wouldn't dare put on now. Everyone from Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, to plenty of senators, congressmen, and even to this day, you'd like to think that in 2015 we were above and beyond this. just go search the hashtag Cinco de Mayo on Twitter, and you be the judge and tell me if this is something that we are done with and we've moved on from. These conversations are good. These conversations are good because we're teaching people. Cultural appropriation was not okay then, and it's not okay now, and she is sorry to every person she offended by liking that photo. Kim also explained that Rachael has Latina heritage through her father, whose parents were born in Honduras, and provided screen grabs of Instagram posts that Rachael made in 2020 supporting Black Lives Matter. By the way, when you have to share screen grabs of your daughter supporting Black Lives Matter, it's almost like it's like, what world do we live in? You know what I mean? She pointed out that posts supporting BLM can also be found on Rachel's Instagram page. All right. She said Rachael has already been educating herself on how to be actively anti-racist and took a stand against the injustices that took place over the summer. I do love that she used the term actively anti-racist. You know, again, I'm going to plug it one more time because in the book, Emmanuel Acho, and also in his YouTube series by the same name, talks about being being non-racist isn't good enough anymore. You have to be anti-racist. So just by saying I'm not racist, that's not good enough in today's world. You have to be anti-racist when something comes up within a friend group or a work environment or wherever you are. So very interesting and actually progressive, to give Kim credit here, to use the term actively anti-racist. She donated, signed petitions, made the conscious effort to listen and learn, and encouraged other white allies to do the same on her social media. This activism even ended some of her lifelong friendships, but standing up for what's right was more important to her. So far, there has not been any acknowledgement of her anti-racist efforts. Instead, the focus has been on anything that supports the theory that she is a racist. So the mom wishes that people would give her daughter credit for who she is now, not where she was. Asked about the social media pile in the wake of the scandal, Kim said it has been demoralizing and depressing. Many of us have received threats, but mostly I just worry about Rachael because she's been by far the most devastated by this. These are issues that she's very passionate about, and she feels like she let everyone down. Following the claims of racism made against Rachael, the Bachelor host Chris Harrison jumped to her defense. He later said he was stepping aside from the show and apologized for his comments. Asked about Chris's decision, Kim says, it was disappointing for many reasons, but it was particularly frustrating because his stance is the exact opposite of how Rachael feels about the situation. Very interesting. So, and again, I think they had leaked that some people in Rachel's camp have said the same thing, that Chris made it worse because his defending Rachael isn't the message Rachael wanted to get out. It was done without her approval. Very interesting that Kim said that. Let's repeat it. It was disappointing for many reasons, but it was particularly frustrating because his stance is the exact opposite of how Rachael feels about the situation. Although this has been hard on her, she can take some solace in knowing that Chris's words about her are being used by the franchise to take a step in the right direction, and she stands with and supports the BIPOC within the franchise. Describing her daughter's personality, Kim said she is non-judgmental, kind, caring, compassionate, non-confrontational, and friendly to everyone she comes across. All right, folks. Well, there you have it. There was a lot in there. Obviously, Kim, Rachel's mom, defensive over her daughter being slandered by TikTok user, and the rush to judgment on calling her a racist. Obviously, when you look at each one of the things line by line, they might not be the biggest issues. I don't want to say they're not big issues, but when you put it all together, it obviously looks worse than the sum of its parts. Does that make sense, guys? You know me. Like, I'm a stand-up comic. When I get on stage and tell a joke, I know how it goes. When I do these videos, I'm very careful that I don't want someone in the comment section to conflate what I'm trying to say here. Rachael apologized. So let's go one more time because it's honestly apology statement. It's actually really worth it to see Rachael with an A. Sorry about that. To see what we got here. It was better than Chris Harrison's apology, a grown man who is media trained. It was way better. And I want to address this because Rachael, I think by acknowledging by the mom acknowledging that the TikTok user made up the story, good. If a story's wrong, stand by your word and call it out. You do whatever you need to do. Sue for slander, libel, whatever you need to do. I think it's libel, right? Slander is spoken word. So I think, although I don't know if a TikTok falls into slander. Anyway, let me know, my legal experts out there. But when you start going down by line over like, well, like I didn't know or this or that. It's like, look, apologize in a way like Rachael did. While there have been rumors circulating, there have also been truths that have come to light that I need to address. I hear you, and I'm here to say I was wrong. At one point, I didn't recognize how offensive and racist my actions were, but that doesn't excuse them. My age or when it happened does not excuse anything. They are not acceptable or okay in any sense. I was ignorant, but my ignorance was racist. So the point of all this is that she's owned up to where she comes from. She's asking people to just understand that she's making steps to move forward. And for the people that are talking about this in the media, myself included, everyone, it comes to a point where as soon as we have all the facts, as soon as we have as much info as we can to make a decision, now it's what we see going forward. She said, racial progress and unity are impossible without white accountability, and I deserve to be held accountable for my actions. I will never grow unless I recognize what I have done is wrong. I don't think one apology means that I deserve your forgiveness, but rather I hope I can earn your forgiveness through my future actions. So here we are, folks. Now it's time to see what the future actions will be. And until then, we'll keep discussing this topic in a way that I hope remains productive and understanding that even if this issue didn't affect you, it doesn't mean that it's not an issue that affects many. Understand if it doesn't affect you, that is a very nice place to be. As you guys know, my caller, Karen from Texas, says, look, it's not a big deal. Everyone bleeds red. And it's like, what a place of privilege that it's not a big deal to you. Unfortunately, for a lot of people across our country, if we truly want equality, respect, and unity, we have to come to a place of grace and compassion. I urge you guys to try to do that along with me. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. And also, I'll put the voicemail up one more time. There's also the voicemail in the description. 401-213-9828. Call the voicemail, and I'll see you at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we'll discuss this topic. Thanks, guys.